This episode is brought to you by Liberty Ball Markers, unique personalized golf accessories, made in the USA and delivered worldwide. Make sure to use SavePar10 to get 10% off your order. The website is www.birdiebomb.com. That's www.birdie-bomb.com. Welcome to Save Par Golf Podcast, where two average golfers talk about golf and things. I'm your host, Derek.
I'm your host, Dominic.
In today's episode, we will discuss the history of how buying a round of drinks if you hit a hole-in-one came about. Happy Gilmore's caddy wins PGA Rookie of the Year, Will Zalatoris. The NFL kicked off, pun intended. And finally, we will talk about things we like and dislike about each other on the golf course. Dom, this is episode 17, and we got a lot to cover.
Yeah, it'll be exciting.
Not a whole lot on the golf world, but NFL obviously kicked off. We're watching Monday night right now.
Yeah.
And again, Happy Gilmore's caddy wins PGA Rookie of the Year, Will Zalatoris.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Right?
Well,
pretty incredible year for him. He had 8 top 10 finishes, 14 top 25 finishes, and he made 21 out of 24 cuts made, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I don't think I could name another rookie
that was even close to that.
Yeah.
And then he cashed into nearly $3.5 million. So not a bad year.
No, not at all.
I would be happy with that.
And he gets to play golf.
Travel, play golf, make money. Caddy too.
And there's memes.
Gilmore.
Yeah, he's got all the memes about
I love
him.
how he just kind of rolls with it too.
It's like he embraces it.
Right. Which that whole introduction wasn't making fun of him. It was all
that's awesome. No, and when those started to get big, wasn't he like all for it? Where he was like, yeah.
Absolutely. He loved it. He, like I said, he embraced it, which was fantastic. So, yeah, it was no shot to Will Zalatoris. Awesome. Incredible year for him. I think he's got a bright future, obviously. NFL is back. We'll just kind of, I know we're a golf podcast, but we talk about golf and things, right?
Football's a thing.
Football's a thing. What was your biggest take so far?
Vikings are ass.
Vikings did not put the best display out.
Shocker.
Considering starting off the season with a penalty and had, 18 total penalties?
It was like 18 for 100-something yards. And all my issue, and we've talked about this, people want to blame the refs. You can't blame the refs when you have 118 yards of penalties in a single game.
I agree with you on that. I do.
Granted, that play would have changed the outlook on things, but realistically, we shouldn't have been in overtime to begin with. But 18 penalties.
It was a tough start for sure. They did battle back. There was some awesome takeaways though. Our special teams, our punter, and our field goal kicker.
Kirk looked good.
Kirk looked pretty good. He had some really good throws given the amount of pressure with our offensive line, which we knew that was going to be an issue going into it.
Our D-line looks like, now that we have Pierce, Hunter.
Awesome.
I've always been a Michael Pierce guy, especially when he was in Baltimore and everything. He can wreck the run game. And then
we let up a lot of yards, but I think they'll clean that up a little bit.
It's also the first game and everybody's overreacting. However, if it doesn't change, I'm not a big Zimmer guy. I don't think he should still be here anyways.
He might be on the hot seat.
I thought he should have been on the hot seat last year, but I can't imagine if this doesn't change, being that he's a defensive guru, quote unquote. I can't imagine he'll be here, especially with the way the league's going with all these young offensive coaches and McVay and.
I hate watching the Vikings lose. Obviously, as do you, I'd imagine, but it was a little bit. It was nice to see the Packers get steamrolled.
Oh, by Jameis.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming, but
he had 5 touchdowns and under 200 yards.
That's incredible. I don't think that's
unreal.
Yeah, I don't think that's very common. I don't know.
That's without Michael Thomas too.
Yeah, their number 1 wideout. I think he'll be gone. I think there's a lot of drama going on in there.
Well, he's on the
He was injured
pup.
too, right?
Yeah, he's on the pup. But then,
so the NFC North basically is all 0-1.
Isn't it great?
Lions almost came back. That was a good game, but they unfortunately couldn't
The Bears got steamrolled by Matthew Stafford, which was beautiful.
Weird seeing Stafford there, but I liked it.
I love Stafford. I loved him in Detroit, and I'm happy he's not in Detroit anymore because there were a lot of games where he would kind of put the team on his back and almost like wheel them back in. But yeah, I mean, it's weird not seeing him in blue, but in white, he looked pretty good though.
I liked watching Stafford. I'm trying to think of what other Kyler Murray went off. We play them next week, so that'll be interesting.
We're gonna lose.
Yeah, I think this was definitely a game that we should have won, or we needed to win. I think personally,
well, especially since the Cardinals kind of loaded up. You know, they got J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones, like that. I know you have to like somehow lock down DeAndre Hopkins, who's always open. You put the whole defense on him, and he'd still catch the ball.
Guy's incredible.
Like, he's unreal.
So yeah, we have the NFL obviously in full order right now. It's awesome just to kind of sit down on a Sunday and just watch football.
Yeah,
it's nice to have that back. It's nice to see the fans in the stands. Okay, so this was one of these is in the main introduction. I don't know why I was thinking about this the other day, and I know why. One of my coworkers was out on a golf trip for 3 days. They have like a big event, like 30, 40 guys. And one of the guys hit a hole-in-one. And that guy ended up paying, I think, $400 or $500 for drinks. And it got me thinking, I'm like, that is the most... I don't know. That is something that I think is the stupidest thing ever.
It's the dumbest thing. Because why... Like, if we're celebrating my accomplishment, right, and my stroke of luck or my good karma or whatever, I'm not buying you a drink. You should buy me a drink. You know what I mean? It's like, if it's my birthday, why am I buying everybody drinks? You know, if it's my birthday,
that was kind of my thought. And so I did a little research.
Oh, no.
And I had to look it up because I'm thinking, like, it's absurd. How did this even come about? Because you always hear about it, but no one has really ever told,
right.
Really no, it's always like an unwritten rule.
Yeah, it's always just been, oh, you got a hole-in-one, now you buy everybody drinks. I don't get it. So there's several different theories where the tradition started. And this is from AEC Info. Now, again, I don't know how... the source here, how good this source is, but better than nothing.
Yeah. I found them interesting. There was several different stories. The first one says the theory is that the hole-in-one started back in March of 1921 in Pebble Beach, and it was by James B. Marker. He reportedly was the first. He was a golfer that hit a hole-in-one, the par 3 on the 17th hole during the Prohibition. And it said Marker celebrated with his playing partners and offered the good stuff to his foursome. Another gentleman who was playing against Marker that day was reported saying, "Why don't you buy a shot for the whole damn clubhouse, you lucky SOB?" Marker accepted the challenge, and the 21 gentlemen waiting in the clubhouse, there was no bar at the time because it was the Prohibition, but were treated to imported Canadian whiskey courtesy of James B. Marker. So even though it was during the Prohibition, those that could afford to play Pebble Beach at that time, obviously were able to get some alcohol.
Right.
Which makes sense, but there really hasn't anyone fully confirmed that story. But I thought that was kind of the most interesting. There was another story that one of them was if you made a hole-in-one, you were likely to win the match for that day. Therefore, you had a few dollars to buy a drink.
Oh, that'd be nice.
So that kind of makes sense. So if you're playing for money, you hit hole-in-one, obviously you're probably going to win that round, which necessarily is not the case because I just had seen a picture posted of a guy who hit a hole-in-one in the very previous hole he had a 10. So it's like, that isn't necessarily the case.
I mean, my buddy hit a hole-in-one, and there were 3 of us playing, and he still lost. It is what it is, right?
It's one hole. There's 17 more if you're playing 17.
Well, we were playing 9.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, he had 8 other holes to win, and he didn't win until the 9th hole. But still lost.
Yeah, I like that theory. And I believe there was one other theory. It said that the final theory is about the hole-in-one traditions that keeps golfers honest during the round and may prevent them from lying about their historic shot.
That would make sense too.
Yeah, let's see what he said. Every golfer, you cannot make a hole in one without some sort of luck. Buying drinks after a hole in one golfer is a way of repaying the golf gods. Regardless of those stories,
no,
because
I'm not buying drinks. Sorry.
Most people aren't playing for $300, $400, $500 on a round.
No.
And if you're supposed to buy the whole clubhouse a drink,
and also if I'm gonna cheat, I'm not gonna say I hit a hole in one. If I'm gonna cheat, I'm gonna take off 1 or 2 strokes.
Yeah.
Like, instead of getting like a 9, I shot a 7. But I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah,
I just hit a hole in one.
Yeah, especially since 9 times out of 10 you're watching.
It really irked me though, like how somebody like that hits a perfect shot is obviously very
once
rare.
in a lifetime type thing.
And then now I have to pay the clubhouse. Dude, I'm not doing that.
No, I'm sorry.
Screw
no.
That. So if you guys have your take on that, or if you guys have your own theories or stories, love to hear them. But I thought those were pretty interesting. I like the Pebble Beach one.
I would say it's kind of funny that whenever there's these quote unquote lore stories type thing, it's always at like a famous golf course, like Pebble Beach.
Very exclusive.
Yeah.
High dollar. Well, during the Prohibition, obviously, so the drinks itself were very rare to come by.
Right. So especially like if you take me back to Prohibition and I have to try to buy everybody a beer, I'm going bankrupt.
Well, that thing it wasn't even beer, it was whiskey, so it's probably even more expensive.
I'm going bankrupt. Yeah.
That's definitely like just one thing that golf. I love golf. Obviously, we love golf. We have a podcast about golf, but there's so many like weird traditions or
it's because it's such an old game and nobody really knows anything about it, right? The game's always changing. Like there's always gonna be
why there's so much pushback on a lot of things, like all the new.
I think so because there's
tradition, like the traditional like style.
Golf is in many ways a traditional game, right? It's a classic game where when one thing changes, there's always a little bit of pushback. You know, whether that's Tiger or, you know, even these new clubs, you know, going farther than ever, people swinging harder than ever, you know, Bryson integrating physics and trying to play courses differently. There's pushback. I mean, we're seeing it all the time.
Yeah, the technology and the innovation of golf, I mean, is changing daily. I don't know if you heard that, but that definitely was not me. That was not me this time. Someone else's phone went off.
Oh, did my phone go off?
I think so. Something went off. Something buzzed. No, it didn't buzz. It was like
mine's on silent.
It was like a. Did you hear that noise?
No.
It was like a.
Dude, you've been drinking.
No, like I swear, I just heard like a. What do you call it? Not an alarm, like an alert or something.
Oh, I don't know. Mine's on silent. Yeah, it's on silent.
Huh.
Maybe it's the beer.
No, because I only had 2.
No. Two in front of me. But yeah, I mean, golf is one of those games where every time there's a little bit of, I don't want to say progress, but you know, innovation. There's always somebody that's like, oh, I don't like that. Which
some pushback regardless.
It's always going to be like that, right? I mean, we see it in baseball with everybody using, you know, like sabermetrics or analytics or this, that, and the other. You know, who's to say golf can't change? I think things are going to take longer, though, because it's very much an old person sport.
I saw a little bit of pushback from Phil Mickelson about the PGA Tour trying to like cut down the length of the driver.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he kind of voiced his opinion about it.
So they're trying to make it shorter? Why?
I think because the driving distance is just so outrageous.
Oh, it's like MLB trying to deaden the baseball because everybody's hitting bombs.
Exactly. It's like, I mean, chicks dig the long ball, right?
Right.
I think dudes love watching the friggin' hit drives 350 yards.
I mean, how satisfying is it to watch Bryson? I mean, love him or hate him.
As far as like his driving and all that,
I mean,
it's crazy. Every drive, it seems to put him in contention of hitting a short wedge.
Right. I think that's incredible. I mean, there's something to say about those guys that don't hit the ball very far that still compete. I think that might be more impressive. You know, because like I don't hit the ball very far. You know, it's never been my game. So I've had to come up with other ways to like keep up with everybody. I think that's more impressive than watching Bryson hit the ball 400 yards. it's more satisfying to watch Bryson hit the ball 400 yards because you're like, wow.
And he's putting like full on torque.
Oh, his whole body.
So it's like the consistency of him hitting the fairway is even more impressive. Because like he's not just like he's got some crazy swing speed.
He's unreal.
I just don't.
Which is funny because he uses a shorter driver.
Does he?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
One of his, I know he rotates, but I know one of his drivers is shorter than normal.
Interesting.
Because he also uses an older Cobra head on it. Yeah.
I don't I've never understood the whole like hover and hit the driver. Have you ever noticed this? He does like a tap, 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 tap.
It might be,
and then he hits. He doesn't keep the ball in the.
It might be a rhythm thing to where like maybe in his head it's, you know, it makes sense for him to kind of have the rhythm. And maybe after tap, 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 it's
a lot of those guys hover though. That's crazy to me.
I mean, that's kind of what Matthew Wolf does with his little, like
little waggle.
His little wiggle waggle thing. And we saw Kyle Berkshire do it on like the pro. Like he would sway back and forth.
Yeah, get that momentum.
Yeah. Well, it was that and like the rhythm.
Don't you think though? Like you watching those guys like hover over the ball, like so like most amateur players got the ball teed up, your driver's there sitting there, and you're thinking, and you're getting ready to swing. These guys are literally most of their drivers aren't even touching the ground. They're literally like hovered way like 2 or 3 inches off the ground. It's like, for them to consistently smash the ball. I don't know. One of my buddies does that, and he can hit the ball a long way, but he's not super consistent in the fairway. And it's like, I've tried it, not my thing. And I don't know. I'm curious to know like what the advantage is to.
I don't know.
I like to set my driver down, line it up, and then I'm gonna swing my swing.
I mean, anytime I try to hit my driver, it's different every time, just because I'm not consistent with it. But that's also like my least favorite club ever is my driver.
I love my driver.
If I could hit, like, if I could never have to hit my driver, I'd be a happy man.
Well, technically, you don't have to.
Which is true, but
yeah, depending on the course too, if you got a 440 yard par 4,
right? I'm not gonna tee off with my 4-iron. Then I'm gonna kind of hope and pray. Maybe I'll use a wood, but even then, I don't carry a 3 wood because they kind of freak me out. I like the loft of a 5, so that's what I carry. I carry a 5, which is drastically different than a 3.
I was just thinking about this randomly. I'm not sure why, but if you have you been mini golfing at all anytime recently? Are you one to like, have you ever seen anyone bring their own putter?
No, I've wanted to, but I've never wanted to be that guy.
Yeah, see, I don't think I could do that. Especially if you like do bring your own putter, I feel like your expectations of like being really, really good are like riding on your shoulders. Because like this guy brought his own putter.
Well, especially because like I don't have like a putter that's like very like my putter doesn't blend in, right? Because it's like chrome and it's like copper. Like it stands out.
It's not the rubber mallet that you find at
even if mine was like black, like yours, where it's kind of just like, oh yeah, I could go either way. Mine's like chrome brass, like it sticks out.
And then you gotta like, you tuck your putter cover in the back of your pocket, and you're just, I don't know. I've never seen anyone do that. I've seen it obviously on Instagram.
Yeah,
but
it's kind of like that meme where it's like, yeah, there's always that one guy that brings his own clubs to Topgolf.
I've done that.
But
that's a little more realistic, but yeah, it's kind of
it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like it's kind of like that bro-y type thing.
100%. I think that's I can understand a little bit because you can still get some practice hitting the ball even though you're playing off a mat. But I would love to see that in person. Just show up with a personal putter with a Scotty Cameron. You see Scotty Cameron just roll up with a Lily, but your local.
It's got the one that has like the big long grip that goes up your forearm.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like you're checking.
So I didn't know this, but I guess I have a fantasy draft right now.
I was wondering what you were peeking at over there.
I didn't know it was today. I had no idea, and then like a half hour before it started, it's like, oh, you're drafting today, and I was like, oh, so I missed one of my picks.
Who'd you get for your first pick?
I panicked and took Diggs.
That's not really
it's not awful.
Pick.
No.
Yeah.
And then I auto drafted Antoine Gibson. and I didn't know I was picking, and then I just took Jefferson.
Oh, yeah, Justin Jefferson. That's a too solid.
I honestly might auto draft. Like, I might just pick a quarterback and then just have it all kind of just auto pick for me and see what I get.
When do you pick next?
2 picks. Like 2. Yeah. So I might just like be that dude who takes a quarterback and then, I'm picking. Who do I want? Somebody. So this is like, I have the 37th pick and somebody already took Mahomes.
I can see him being gone. Is Lamar available?
Yeah. Although,
who else is
my dude Russell's there too. I have 7 seconds.
Watching Russell.
I am picking Russell, and now I'm gonna go on auto draft. The best part is this, like, dudes I work with, like in corporate. Bye.
Just mid podcast doing a little NFL draft.
Well, I didn't know. Like, yeah. Initially they were like, "Oh, there's not enough people," and I was like, "Okay, like whatever."
Sign me up.
And now it's like the league's full, and I didn't know I was picking today. But yeah, that's how this has gone.
We'll check back and see how Dom's drafted.
Oh, I'm kind of scared, but whatever.
So Dom wanted to come up with doing a little bit of.
Are we doing my list?
Yeah, doing a little bit of a new subject. And go ahead.
So I was like, hey, let's do something different. So I have a top 3 list of what we like about each other when we play golf, and then a top 3 list of what we hate about each other when we play golf.
Hate's such a strong word, though.
What we don't like about each other.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
I went with the annoy me. Things that annoy me.
Oh, no. It's because I'm loud. Is that one of them?
No, it's hard to come up with a couple, but I got a few.
Oh, no, I got 3.
All right. So
I came up with 3 pretty easily.
Go ahead and kick it off with the first one.
Do you want to do, like, the best things or the worst things first?
Start with the worst first.
So, one of my biggest pet peeves while playing with you is that your quote-unquote bad shots are my good shots. There'll be moments when you tee off and you go, "Oh no, Derek," and I'm like, "Dude, I wish I hit that." Like there's a vivid memory I have. We were playing the Crossroads at Majestic for one of the first times.
Okay.
And it's that hole where there's like that big dirt hill over here.
Yeah, it's a par 5.
Yeah.
This whole number.
And you hit an absolute rocket, but it's kind of left, and I shanked mine right. And you're like, "Oh no!" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm way over here in the dirt hill." And you're like, "I'm way over here." I'm like,
I would much rather trade places.
I'm like, "Do you want to switch?"
Yeah. I can see that.
It just irks me because I'm like, "Shut up."
So I guess I'll piggyback that off of things that annoy me is that I guess now that you say that, this one kind of defeats mine, but I was going to say that, yeah, you don't typically care when you hit a bad shot, which is like, now I guess it does in your head, but at least you don't express it that way.
Is that annoys you that I don't?
Yeah, it annoys me because like if I hit a bad shot, I get frustrated.
Oh,
like if you hit a bad shot, you're like, no big deal. Like I'll just roll with it and go.
Yeah.
Like you don't take the game seriously. Like not in a bad way. I mean, like
it's a game.
It is.
If this was my livelihood, it'd be different. But right. I guess I view it as okay. Hit a bad shot. I'm gonna hit a lot more today.
But people, you're still paying for it, so I could see.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that is one thing that doesn't really like bother you, and I like that about you though, is that
I don't like to show my frustration because there's a lot of times when I hit a bad shot, I'm like, okay, like I don't want to, because I'm kind of competitive. Well, kind of is an understatement. I'm very competitive. I don't like to show like, oh, I wish I would have done that better, because then it kind of gets to me. But I don't know. I guess I get that. That could be a good and bad thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well that's mine. What else you got?
You don't let me drive.
Oh, that is a good one.
You never let me drive.
That is true. That's honestly with like everyone.
I know. And it bothers me.
That's a really good one. Okay, I like that. So if you piggyback off that one, what I hate is when I drive and somebody puts their bag, not necessarily you, someone puts their bag on the driver's side.
Oh, I don't think I've ever done that.
No, you haven't. But that has happened. And not only like, so like if I've went to a course.
That's like a power move.
Well, majority of the times if I go, this doesn't happen very often, but it's if like someone takes our bags and loads them up.
Oh yeah.
Normally, you're supposed to ask like, "Hey, who's driving?" Sometimes they just load them up, and then it's like, okay, they're already strapped up, and now I have to like go around and like. But yeah, if not, that is a power move.
Yeah, no, that's like a total power move.
Like, I'm gonna put these over here.
Yeah,
but that's a good one.
There are sometimes I'm like, ooh, I could drive, and then you hop in, and I'm like, oh, I'm not driving.
Very rarely, I think, have I sat in the passenger seat in a golf cart.
You've never let me, like, never. And I've only jumped one golf cart.
I have popped one tire. I have done that.
There was one time, I think it might have been with you. Were you there when I was playing Viking and I got my phone stuck in the golf cart?
Where'd you get stuck in?
So,
because I feel like I did. I was.
It got like jammed like underneath the hood. I put it in what I thought was like a closed, like a tray type thing, and then it slid down. And we had to. I had to call the pro shop. Yeah, I had to call the pro shop.
That's embarrassing.
I don't think I was driving.
If you were with me, no, you weren't. That's such a good one. I didn't even think of that one. That is seriously, and it's not even like me being a jerk. I've always been like so used to it, and I'm a very like a creature by habit. I know. I just do my certain things, and
because I was thinking about it, I'm like, well,
next round you're driving. Well, how about that?
Good, because I was thinking about it earlier. I'm like, well, what does he do that bothers me? I'm like, well, I never drive, and then I'm like, well, I get to play my music, I get to do whatever I want, so it's like, give and take. I was like, yeah, but I never drive because sometimes I just want to steer around with my foot out.
That's true,
and you always take that from me.
I will say this though, before I had my contacts in, I was seriously couldn't see anything. But like ever since I started getting my contacts in, most people that I play with, I seem to have like kind of the eyes like of a hawk where I kind of find the ball. Oh. So that I feel like that isn't the reason I drive, but I feel like I'm pretty good at navigating to like where your ball is, because sometimes it's like people are like, they're looking way over here when it's not anywhere near.
That's me. Yeah, I always lose it. Yeah.
So that isn't like the reason why, but that is one reason why I feel like.
Yeah, because I've only jumped one golf cart, and that was at a really nice golf course.
Haven't been back?
Actually, I don't think I have.
Well, yeah, it was. When I popped a tire, I haven't been back to that course.
It was the Refuge.
Oh, was it?
I jumped through one of the bunkers because it was like one of the first ones playing there.
Bunker? You had no idea.
Yeah, and I just.
At least you didn't do it on purpose, I guess.
Oh, I kind of want to do it again. It was fun.
I only have one other thing that really annoys me, and it's not like a super bad thing. It's actually a good thing for you, but you always have I'm the Save Park golf guy that has golf shoes, but yet you still find the way to have better sneakers on the golf course. So that kind of annoys me.
Yeah, last season I think I played the majority of last year in the React Air Force Ones.
Yeah, those are sweet.
Yeah.
But I like your Air Maxes. Those are sick.
Yeah.
And then obviously you had the Pumas.
Yeah, those are cool. I might get another pair.
I mean, obviously I like my TW customs from Leaderboards, but they're a little small, so that's why I don't really wear them very often. But yeah, so and the Squares, don't get me wrong, Squares golf shoes are sweet. I like them, but you're rocking some fancy shoes out there, which
I think it's fun.
Yeah. No, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. But it
just bother you. That's like
a little bit. I've always been known to have the better shoes and have nice shoes, and
but between you and I, like my collection's better,
way better. Yeah.
Just period.
Yeah.
Granted, I wish I had some of the shoes you had, but
I've sold a lot too. But,
but
no, you definitely have the way bigger collection. That's for sure. So
I know my last thing I have is not like super bad, but it's more me being petty. You don't let me win. Which, granted, we never keep score either. Well, we do, but it's never like, down.
Rub it in anyone's face.
But you never let me win.
Well,
that might.
I mean, if you win,
that might.
How am I supposed to win?
Well, right, and at the end of the day, like
I'm just quoting Talladega Nights.
And then it's like, well, also like I think that's kind of like if you're a bachelor, it's on my good shots, and I don't have a chance in hell of winning, unless it's like closest to the pin.
I think. There's been several times you play pretty like, especially we play like some of those like par 3 courses.
Oh yeah,
like, you throwing darts and all that. So, but that is one thing. Like, I'm never really there to play like beat anyone. I'm all about like both trying to play good together.
Right. Like we've never played each other.
Yeah.
But it's like we just go and play with each other. But
there's some people that play and they're like, I mean, if you don't play for money, that's fine, sure. But like, I would much rather play good and have my buddy play good, and we're having a good time. Like, even if you're playing bad, as long as we have a good time, that's kind of my ideal.
Like, there have been a few times where it's like I've played with one of my buddies, and we're like, hey, like, loser buys dinner. You know, but that's something where it's like we're both around the same skill level.
Pretty close to
I'd buy you dinner every time.
Well, shoot. That's a good one. Again, that is one thing as far as golf goes. Like, I'm very competitive as well, but I'm not one to, like, my whole focus is myself playing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I want everyone to enjoy it and have a good time.
That actually is, like, a good segue into one of my favorite things about you. And when we play together, it's like you're a good coach and you give me, like, actual constructive criticism versus, hey, swing better.
Yeah.
You're like, thanks. There have been, like, especially, like, when we were playing Como last year, you're like, hey, you know, do this and swing like this. And then I piped that 5-wood over the green nonetheless. Like, I hit it a little too well.
We had a great time. That was a great day.
That was a good
I think that
round.
was the lowest round I've ever had. Not to
We know.
make it about me. But,
we know.
But no, it was just, that's what it was all about though. Like, hitting a drive, you hit a good drive, or I hit a good second shot, you hit a good second shot. That's what it's all about, which is blast.
That's like one of my favorite things. That it's like when we play together, it's like I'm always going to learn something. You know, you're going to go, oh, well, try this, and you're not going to go, oh, hey, just swing less hard. Like, there's actual, like, criticism, and you actually, like, help me with it.
That's kind of what I was saying, is that we always have a good time regardless of how bad we play or how good we play. We always have a good time. But very, very good at, like, to piggyback off what you say, like, hey, try this, and you try it, and it's like, it works. You know, and I'm not like a good teacher by any means, but just from experience, like, just try this little thing, just a little shift.
And I'm all for, and I'm all open to, you know, criticism, because, you know, it's a game of learning, and, you know, we're always learning and changing. But if someone says, hey, do this, and then they don't give me a reason, or they don't explain how to do that, I'm not gonna take that very well. You know, it's kind of like those memes where it's like the high handicapper tells the low handicapper what to do. It's like, thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, where'd you learn that? So I have, I think, one other one. What else do you have?
I'm going to save my best one for the last, because I think it's the funniest. We always come up with some kind of idea. You know, when we play, you know, we get to talking, and that's kind of how this evolved, right? Yep. You know, we're playing one day, and you're like, hey, we should start a podcast. And I was like, hey, I talk a lot. And you're like, hey, you're opinionated. I was like, damn right I am.
That's true. Very true.
That's kind of how this started. And that's how we've come up with other ideas and even ideas for the podcast.
Absolutely. No, that's a good one. I didn't even think of that. My one was, I love how you just grab a club and you just play it that way. That's like your biggest thing. It's like, you're not indecisive of like what you want to do. And I think so many people are very indecisive of like in between clubs. Regardless if you hit a bad shot or a good shot, like, it's okay. It's like, that's what I was going to go with, and that's it.
It's kind of like me being opinionated. It's like, I'm going to die on that hill. Like, there have been moments where it's like you're hitting like a really like high lofted club, and I'm sitting there with like a 5-iron. I'm like, oh, and then I do it. And I'm like, okay. I stumbled across a brilliantly dumb TikTok, and someone was like, Bobby, why are you hitting a 5-iron? And he goes, I have no idea. That's exactly how I feel.
Bobby's the man. I love Bobby.
Shout out Bobby. Yeah. I love that. Oh, speaking of Bobby, you know how he's saying Chick-fil-A does no wrong? They forgot my straw one day.
See, did you see his video about the straw?
They straight up did not give me a straw. Did you check the... Yeah, because I didn't open the bag. Because there's one like right across the parking lot from me at work. So I just... did not give me a straw. So I had
high and low in your seats. In between
I had to drink my iced coffee that's like half ice without a straw. But yeah, that reminded me of that. He was like, why are you hitting a 5-iron? He goes, I have no idea. That's exactly how I play golf.
You just, whatever you feel comfortable with, that's what you're going to go with.
There are a couple holes that, like, you know, Danny and I were playing. I think it was one of the Giants Ridge courses, and he's like hitting something crazy, and I'm like, I have my hybrid. And I just swung and made it on the green, and it's like, I'm gonna die on this hill. If I shank it, I'm gonna die on it, and if I hit it over, I'm willing to die on that.
Yeah, I like that. Absolutely.
So my last one, and probably my favorite one, is sometimes you pay.
Yeah, I've done that.
Sometimes it's like, oh yeah, I already paid, and I was like, oh, okay.
That's even like, that's the best golf. Free golf is the best golf, right? Because
There-
then you don't, like, if you suck right off the bat, you're like, I just spent $75 on this round, and now I'm.
Well, yeah, and it's like you've never paid for anything like that expensive.
No,
But there have been a few times where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to pay, and then you just run up there and go, oh yeah, just go to the first tee, and I was like, oh, okay,
it's just rock and roll.
yeah.
I know. I was hoping I had some good ones about you. Like if you like roll up to the like tee times at 7:30 and you roll up to the tee box at 7:29. You know, but we're both on time. We're both early, so didn't really have anything like that.
Yeah.
Mine was my last one. Isn't. I mean, it's I guess true, but I like you're down to play any course regardless of like the condition. Like as far as like. Not necessarily like weather condition, but like
if it's snowing, I'm still in.
no, well that too. But I mean, like you're just willing to like go try out any course. Like let's go try it out.
Yeah,
know, which is cool because you can't really knock it until you try it, I guess.
Well, right, and it's like a bad day golfing is still better than a good day at work. If it's a bad course, we're still out there having fun. 100%. It's like those people that like refuse to play because the greens are aerated. I don't care. I'm missing putts anyways.
Yeah, as long as I get a little bit of a discount, right? Well, that was one of the courses out in Phoenix. It's like it's hard to complain about $26.
Right.
And I mean, I'm gonna complain, but
plus then it gives you an excuse if you miss your putt. You're like, the greens are bad. Versus me just I hit the ball.
Yeah, that's.
I think that still might be one of my favorite things from last week. You're like, you just go up or maybe not last week, but a couple weeks ago, you're like, man, you could really improve on putting.
Putting's tough. I mean, everyone can improve on putting.
Yeah.
Putting is seriously like the worst. But if you are playing one of those kind of courses that is aerated, then you got an excuse.
Exactly. You're like
2 putts for par. No, that's I like that take. I like those. Should definitely try to come up with something each week with something a little bit different like that.
Yeah, because there's nothing like really like, I wish you didn't do that when we were playing, other than like, I wish I had your bad shots.
It's all about having fun.
Yeah, and you're not showing up, a quarter after, sprinting to hole 2.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Yeah, I've never
for both people.
Yeah,
because you're waiting on someone, and then that person obviously is in a hurry or in a rush too. So that's like one of my biggest pet peeves.
Yeah,
or the person ran out of golf balls, and they're like, "Hey, do you?"
I've done that. Yeah. There have been a few times where we were playing where you would like text me at work, and I was like, "Oh no!" I just didn't have time to like refill my bag.
That's a different story though.
Yeah,
but I mean, like straight up, like out on the course is one thing. I don't think you've ever done that.
I know you've thrown me a couple, but I don't think you knew that I was out of golf balls.
It just happened to be.
Yeah. There was like 1 or 2 times I'm like, oh no, I have 1 ball left, and you're like, oh hey, here's a few to try, and I was like, oh, this is sweet.
Good thing I was out of this is my last ball.
Yeah, because it's just like I'm getting better at it now, where it's like I have a couple boxes in my car where I'm like, just in case, because I'm always like doing something. Yeah, but there have been a couple times where I was like, oh no, I have like 2 golf balls left and we have like 7 holes to play and 3 of them are over water. And it's like, oh no. And then you're like, oh, here, try these. And I was like, oh yeah.
Okay, throw those in the cart, put them on my side. I'm trying to think. I am guilty of the ball marker though. Like I normally always have a ball marker, but there is times where I'm that's the one frustrating thing. Sometimes you get paired up with a random single.
Uh-huh.
And everyone's like, you're all like within a certain distance, and you obviously need to mark your ball. And like my ball is in the way of that person's ball.
Yeah, I almost never have a repair tool on me. I have like 2 or 3 of them in my bag, but they're never like on me. Like especially like when we go on the green.
It's just something that you forget.
Yeah, it's like you're repairing all of them, and I'm like, oh, I hope he doesn't notice that I'm not doing it because it's in my bag.
Yep, and that's why I always repair your ball marker and a couple other people's ball markers, right?
Right.
Yep.
Well, it's
you just never know.
Yeah, I mean,
like do it with a tee too.
Well, I never have. Well, that's a lie. I have like a pocket full of tees at all time. But it's like, yeah, I don't ever have those on me.
Anything good food wise? Have you had?
Ooh, I had this. I like wings. Like I'm a wing guy. Like I'm at work. Like when I'm at work, I get like boneless wings just so I'm not a mess constantly. Yeah, I know that's.
Are you a bone-in guy normally? Though?
Yeah,
I mean, so
I'm a flats guy.
100%.
It's just like when I'm at work, I don't want to have to constantly wash my hands after everything. But I had this honey sriracha sauce.
Honey sriracha.
It was
sauce.
bomb.
Where was that at?
From Just Wings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just Wings. I haven't heard of that. Is it a newer place?
I don't know. But I know I've ordered them a few times, and it was the honey sriracha, and then you get like curly fries with your wings, and you get like a takeout box full.
Okay.
And it's pretty good.
That sounds good. I don't think I really had anything new besides went to Costco and made an expensive run, picked up some cinnamon streusel bread, and made some
Ooh.
French toast.
Fancy.
It was actually really good. Yeah, I
Yeah.
made some French toast over the weekend, and that was good. But other than that, as far as like,
That adult slushy I had was pretty good.
yeah,
Yeah.
tasted good.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
good.
I could go through like 4 of them and not know. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been pretty quiet on the dinners. Fuzzy Tacos down in the North Loop. That place is awesome. Great atmosphere. Good margaritas, even though I'm not a huge margarita fan. But relatively cheap food.
You know, you say that every time, but
I
you
know, I gotta
always
mention it
you
because-
always get a marg.
No, I don't. I never do.
Oh,
My
do
wife
you
does,
mooch off
but
your
I just
wife?
get a sip or two. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm not a tequila guy. But they do make wonderful margaritas.
Mhm.
Like, even if you don't like them, you can't really taste the tequila.
Yeah, I went to a Twins game, and lately I've been getting the Bomba juice from the bar.
That sounds good.
Don't know what it is, but it's got vodka. I'm all for it.
Sounds good.
It's pretty good.
They is it like at a certain stand there
Yeah, it's at the bar.
at the bar?
Yeah.
Like is it
Like the
a-
gray, the
oh,
gray,
I
the
understand.
gray duck
Gray
bar.
Duck
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know what's in it, but I always get a double. And I went with my mom, and my mom, like at the same time as me, we both said double. So it was pretty good.
Feeling it?
I chugged it. I was thirsty.
It was like $20 a drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
Straight up, yeah.
so crazy.
So good.
Yeah, it's insane how expensive drinks are. Like at any sporting event,
Yeah.
you go to a football game and it's $14 for a Miller Lite. It's like, no thanks.
Yeah. No, it's the same way like at hockey. I feel like everything's really expensive at hockey games.
They'll pay it though. People pay it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
it's like, why wouldn't you? It's
Right.
the same thing with like the state fair though, right?
Did you go there?
No.
Yeah, I didn't.
My back was all screwed up.
That's right. I think we might have talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's still a little screwed up. It hurts a little bit right now. But it's like the state fair, right? Like you could charge like, $15 and you'd still make a killing.
Absolutely.
Or it's like water, they charge like $8 for a bottle of water in some places.
Dude, that's like a crime. It's insane. But yeah, it's like the airport.
you can go to Target and buy a whole case of water for that.
$2 or $3.
Yeah, like $2.99 at Target if you get the Target brand.
Speaking of your back hurting, hopefully the next time we're podcasting it up, we'll have 2 mics.
Yeah, I'm picking it up tomorrow.
We'll be able to, it should be a little bit clearer, even though it's not that it's not bad quality.
No.
It'll be a little bit clearer, but we can just kind of.
Yeah, I'm
kick
gonna have
it.
to figure out how that works
Yeah.
with this, but I can't imagine it's too terribly hard. Yeah, dude, I'm picking it up tomorrow. You got the all white one.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
I'm excited. And next week, I know we were talking about having a guest on this week. Things kind of didn't pan out, but we have actually a long list of awesome guests. And hopefully next week, the guest that we're going to have on, you guys are definitely familiar with him if you're listening and you're on Instagram, because he's one of the best meme creators.
He's all over the place.
Guy is a stud.
Like, I feel like whenever I refresh the feed, there's like 3 of them.
The guy is automatic. I mean, the guy is unbelievable. I feel like he just sits behind a computer.
Do you know where he's out of?
I believe like Connecticut or something like
Oh,
that.
he's probably not a whole lot to do in Connecticut other than make memes.
No, it could be like New Hampshire. It's totally somewhere out there.
Somewhere
I'm
over
not
there.
sure
Okay.
yet. But he's awesome. And hopefully that does work out, because we're either planning on next week or the following week. Hopefully we can get him on the next week. But we have a bunch of other cool company
Golf brands.
golf brands and some other just influencers that we're looking to have on. So we have a list. It's just a matter of getting everything like scheduled, which is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Because our biggest thing, again, we've preached this before, but is to help grow other platforms and other brands. The golf community is fantastic, and so I think it's a good opportunity for both parties, and it's just fun just to talk golf and get an insight on other people's whether it's a brand or a
connection
business.
to golf, how it started, their story.
Yep, absolutely. So the plan is next week is to have an interview with one of the best meme makers in the golf industry on the Instagram platform. So
I love it.
Yeah,
sometimes there's a meme that like I want to make, and then he posted it, and then I'm like, thanks. Like, but I gotta tag him in it, which I don't mind doing. But I don't know. The dude's all over the place. It's funny. He's great. Never met the guy, but I'm excited to.
Yeah, I've talked to him multiple times. He actually, and we'll talk about this on the podcast, but I remember when he first started getting out, he was literally at a couple hundred followers or 1,000 followers, and asked for some advice, and I kind of gave him a little bit of insight, and he went above and beyond, man. And I'm not trying to take any credit because that's not me, but he is fantastic. So we're not going to give you the name of it because it's not fully set up, but it's a pretty good opportunity for both parties.
So we're done drafting.
Oh yeah, what do we got?
So I personally picked Russell Wilson, Diggs, Jefferson, and Gibson. Everyone else has been auto drafted. You know who it gave me? It gave me Gus Edwards, done for the year. Jerry Jeudy carted off last game.
Yeah, I think he got a high ankle sprain, so he'll be back.
Michael Gallup on the IR. Justin Fields, gonna drop him. Are you? My starting tight end is Higbee.
That's not bad, but
no, but my defense kind of sucks. I got Pittsburgh and Kansas City.
Those are good Ds.
Kansas City gave up 22 in the first half to Cleveland.
The Browns are anticipated to be top of the AFC. Them and Chiefs.
This team, I got my work cut out. How quickly can I drop this, man?
But I'm not sure about the whole injury.
Drop. Oh, I can't drop. Oh, it's because they're playing today. Wow.
Yeah, you're going to have to wait. So much for doing an auto draft. Well, like I said, we'll catch up with next week. We'll talk maybe a little bit about Dom's
my fantasy woes.
And again, hopefully we have our special guest on next week. So episode 17
in the books
is in the books, and look forward to episode 18. Stay tuned, and thanks for listening.